Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now May 27th of 2025, and given that the Meghan Markle drama is continuing and it is only getting worse over time over at Netflix and in the public eye, we know at the same exact time there's been a lot of setbacks for With Love Meghan Season 2, quote unquote. In reality, it's Season 1 Part 2, but there's a lot of other aspects going into this that's putting, of course, the Netflix executives, the producers, in pretty much a very troublesome situation. Let's get into this. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle is that, yes, we do know that she no longer has full-on creative power over Season 2. We talked about this earlier on, that she lost her creative power, her creative control over the series, just a couple of days ago when she got caught doing a lot of things, and we talked about that. But the most recent thing that she got caught doing really actually reaches a new level of, something that Meghan Markle would actually do, something that you would not really be all that surprised about. So let's go into the overall details about this. Now, we already know that Meghan Markle is trying to salvage her acting career within the film industry, within Hollywood. She's trying to keep it intact. And so far, it's not looking good right now, given that there's a lot of studios looking at the whole drama with Netflix internally and externally, mind you, based on the feedback from people that actually gave the show a shot. However, this is where it really begins to get very crucial for Meghan Markle's situation, because now she's under investigation in a very serious way when it comes to With Love Meghan Season 2, when it comes to how the Netflix executives are now watching over everything about this show. And, well, with the Meghan Markle fiasco at Netflix still going on and only getting worse, the more she goes against the executives. One major development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle's behavior after getting caught by multiple Netflix execs and producers about what she did for Season 2. It turns out that since Meghan Markle held creative power for Season 2 of that show, before it was stripped away, she recently got caught by multiple Netflix executives of not just copying Pamela Anderson's cooking show again, but also Rachel Ray's past cooking show, along with many other cooking shows that were either on live television or on the internet/social media. Now, both Netflix executives and producers are now calling for the board of directors to initiate a full-on investigation, and they actually agreed to do so for Meghan Markle over plagiarism of multiple hit TV shows. Now, Markle, of course, reportedly also copied multiple reality TV shows that were used in Season 2 that went unnoticed to the Netflix executives. The board reportedly agreed for a full-on investigation of Meghan Markle to find any other potential scenes that were directly copied from other shows. This is reportedly now putting Netflix in a very serious situation where they may be forced to actually pour more funds now than ever before, now than they were ever willing to do for reshoots, to actually remake all those scenes that Meghan had copied from other programs when she held creative power. However, to make matters worse is that these reshoots will be more time consuming, with, of course, reshoots now potentially stretching into July and not ending within the month of June, as previously expected by Netflix. Now, Markle is said to be very frantic about the fact that Netflix is initiating reshoots of roughly 40% of the series, now, of course, which is said to be massive and will cost anywhere between $40 to $50 million to do those actual reshoots in general. Now, CEO Greg Peters, however, is calling for the board to keep the reshoots to a bare minimum after Markle's investigation is over and done with. By shortening each episode for Season 2, this is all happening in the middle of how Markle has been begging the board for a Season 3 and a contract renewal over at Netflix by the end of course, the summer. However, the fact that the specific board members, the ones that once supported her, are the ones that gave the investigation of Markle an okay after the most recent emergency meeting took place is something, of course, that should be very alarming to Meghan Markle and could lead to zero chance of a renewal at this point. Now, one thing about all of this is that we got to bring this up because this is a very crucial moment for Season 2 of the series. I would not be too shocked if this leads to each episode becoming very short, one after the other. Now, typically a lot of these shows are around like 48, 49 minutes. Some of them may land around 52 minutes, typical Netflix TV shows when you look at the episodes. However, with all the reshoots and how basically now you have Greg Peters calling for the board to keep that at a bare minimum, if the board agrees to that, if they really wanted to, they can keep these episodes very short to eliminate the funds really pouring in to remake 40% of the series. They could make the actual episodes anywhere from 28 to 30 minutes if they really wanted to, and call it a day. They could easily do that if they actually wanted to go that route. But something tells me that they're not going to do that because they already have reshoots planned at the bare minimum level, but now they're being thrown into a situation where they have to actually do more than what was previously expected. So Markle, alright, get this, is already calling this investigation bogus and coming from a place of discrimination. Markle's claims after she got caught copying other shows, some of which were lesser known shows as well, not just on TV but also on the internet and social media, is that her backup plan during the beginning of the investigation is that she was inspired by those shows, and she claims that she did not copy anything for With Love Meghan Season 2 at all. Again, you guys may recall that a similar thing happened with Season 1, with Pamela Anderson's cooking show. She said the same exact thing behind closed doors, that she was only inspired by the series, that she didn't copy it frame by frame, not even the aesthetics of the show. It was just inspiration, right? We all know exactly what it was. She did indeed copy that show, quite frankly, in moments frame by frame, even the way that she acted in some scenarios, really much like copying one show or one shot after the other in specific episodes. So again, I mean, this is a very interesting turn of events. The fact that you now have the board really beginning to actually put their arms up and saying, well, you know what, I guess we're going to have to look into this. And now that's what's going on. So to make matters worse for Netflix is that this is now costing them tens of millions of dollars to correct the show. And they are now doing everything in their power to make the show watchable and essentially doable on their terms, you know, when it comes to releasing such a thing. And so I think that's exactly why people lost a lot of respect for Netflix, is that they are overspending on a lot of these programs. Mind you, it's not just With Love Meghan, it's a lot of other shows that they are overspending that really doesn't need a budget like this. And specifically for this show, With Love Meghan, Part 1 and Part 2, let's call it what it is, this actually has a large budget. It has tons and tons of money going into this, tens and tens of millions of dollars, that really just does not need to be, you know, in existence at this point. They don't really need that much money to be poured into a show like that. It's just literally Meghan Markle and some other celebrity cameos going around in a rented house, doing some hobbies here and there. There's no reason to have a budget that wide. It's not like you're having CGI or any kind of practical effects like a major motion picture does, right? But overall, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about everything else going on with this entire situation at Netflix HQ, and exactly how Meghan Markle has the goal to actually beg them for a third season, for a contract renewal. Now, we'll have to wait and see what happens there, but so far, basically, there's a really low chance of her getting that contract renewal, but she's begging. You know, she's pressuring the board to do that, and who knows what kind of power she has over these board members. Who knows? Overall, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about everything related to the whole Meghan Markle situation for Season 2, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.